Morning, folks. So I thought I'd ask that question, the whoops moment. Do you know what I'm referring to? So if you watch a lot of TV, you'll probably recognize it from an advert. And I'm not even sure which one it is. It's either like Tenor Lady or one of the other brands, which I can't name right now my mind's just gone. But basically I'm talking about women having leakage problems, and it's not just women, men have it as well, but the TV, they market the product to women because that market is probably worth a lot more to them than the male market. But pelvic floor issues are suffered by both men and women, and I'm talking about this because I went on a course this weekend to learn more and understand more about the pelvic floor and why people are suffering more from these problems. So why is it occurring more? It's occurring more because we are not moving our bodies enough, and it means we are not engaging our muscles the way we should. And the pelvic floor is no different. Pelvic floor is a group of muscles that, again, we need to engage. And if we don't use them, we start to lose strength in them. So you'll notice that women of a certain age might be losing strength in those muscles, and they might be having their whoops moments. So a whoops moment could be that they, when they sneeze or when they laugh or when they're running for a bus, they might have a little bit of wee escape. So that's one of them. But another one might be known as urge incontinence, which means there's this sudden need to pee, even though your bladder might not be full. And that kind of thing occurs more because we've trained our bladders to not be able to fill completely. So your brain has basically got used to needing to empty on a more regular basis, and you get that urge to need to pee. And also this can become as a result of just using the toilet constantly because you're anxious, for example. So if you're anxious about going out and not being able to find a loo, and I know I personally have this one, I need to make sure I go to the loo before I go out in case there's no toilet nearby, and I don't want to be having to hold it for hours on end. But that going to the loo when your bladder's not full just trains your brain to think that it can just empty whenever it wants. So there are lots of different problems. There are also lots of other issues around bowels as well, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So what I want to reiterate is that your muscles can be strengthened, and some people will have heard of pelvic floor strengthening exercises, and I know I'd heard of them in the past, but I didn't realise you could do them in lots of different positions. But like with any other exercise, there's lots of different ways of doing them. So you do the same sort of exercise in terms of your squeezing and lifting or the undercarriage area. So basically squeeze everything, and you're holding and you're releasing. But what I hadn't realised or taken into account was the relaxation part. So it's equally important to be able to relax the muscle so it lengthens completely and be completely relaxed before you tighten up. And strengthening might be different for different people. So for example, if it is more the whoops moments in terms of the stress incontinence where sneezing or running for a bus is creating a problem, then that would be more about getting the muscles to work quickly, whereas an urge one would be about making sure you've got the endurance in your muscles. So they're different. That's different types of training that is required for your pelvic floor, but you would need to know which one it is, and need to do those exercises that are specific to that need. What else can I say about this area? So the different places that you can do them. So loads of people always say, you can do it when you're standing up, you can do it when you're sitting down, and nobody will know that you're doing them, and you can do them when you're standing waiting for a bus. Yeah, you can, but what I learned over the weekend was that in some positions it's much easier to feel it and engage your muscles. So what you might find, and I find this with doing any other exercise, is that some people will not feel their muscles very easily. So when they can't feel it, they tend to give up, especially if there's not someone there coaching them. So if you're not used to feeling your pelvic floor muscles, then I'll tell you, when we had to think about engaging these muscles, it was quite hard because you're having to constantly concentrate and feel for them. So if you can't and you're not used to it, it is difficult. So being able to feel them in different positions is very helpful. So we tried them lying down on our back, on our front and on our sides, left and right, and then sitting and standing. So there's loads of different positions there. And that's because we use our body obviously in lots of different positions. So we need to be able to engage the muscles in all those different varied positions. Now what I found was when I was lying on my left side on the floor with my knees bent, I found it quite difficult to feel them. But after a concentration, I could feel them again. Whereas when I was lying on my right side, that was no problem whatsoever. So that's just an example of how different it can feel in just by lying down. So if you've been told to do pelvic floor exercises in the past and you gave up because you didn't feel like they were making a difference, or you didn't feel like you were able to feel them, try them in different positions, and also just check that you are doing the right ones for your needs. Even if you're not having any issues at the moment, then you would need to do both of them to make sure you're strong in both areas and continue to be. So if you've no idea what the hell I'm talking about, and you want to know more, drop me a line and I can tell you more about it, or I might make a video about it in the future. But if you are curious and you want to work on strengthening your pelvic floor as a preventative measure, or you just want to know more about it, then do drop me a line or post below. So have a good day and see you later. Bye.